there. My name is Lieutenant Shannamae Bourne, and I am a part of the Western Jamaica Division, and I am Corps Officer for Hopewell and Dillian Bigwood's Corps right here in Westmoreland, Jamaica. It is a privilege and a real joy for me to share with you on this month of October that we esteem as Women's Ministries Month here in our division. And I wanted to talk to you about this year's theme, and it's this very interesting theme. It says, "Let justice roll, be God-ready women." And I believe that is such an interesting theme. And the two words that are really of value, or the two words I'd like to pull out of that theme to really, get a little clearer definition and just go a little bit deeper into what it's talking about. Those two words are the word justice and ready. And I think that in the Bible, it's filled with so many stories of women who would have been, who would have had a readiness for justice. And some of those women I'd like to share with you, some of those are Abigail. Some of the women are Abigail, Elizabeth, Mary, Deborah, Esther. And today I'd like to share with you a little meditation on the life and story of Esther, and hope that we can grab from her story where in our lives God is calling us to be filled with justice readiness, or a readiness for justice. And if you see me looking off to the sides, because I have some things written here that I'd like to share with you. And so one of the things I wanted to first start off with is I wanted to really give you a summary of what the story of Esther is all about. I'm not sure if you've ever read it. I don't know if everyone that's watching, if you know the story of Esther, but I want to summarize the story. So Esther is, or was, a Jewish orphan girl who grew up with her uncle Mordecai. Her parents had died. They were living in a land that was not their own. They were living in the land of Persia. It so happened that as Esther grew, she had the opportunity to be selected as one of the women that would be vying, for the next queen of the land of Persia. Esther won the king's favor. She won favor in the king's eyes, and she was made queen of a land that she was not born in. And Esther, being Jewish, she did not share that she was a Jew with anyone, because her uncle Mordecai had told her not to share that you're a Jew with anybody. And so it so happened that there was a man named Haman who was the right hand to the king, and he despised the Jewish people. He despised Mordecai, who was Esther's uncle. And I think that this came about because Mordecai refused to bow down and show the kind of respect to Haman that he wanted. And so Haman thought up of a plan of how he would not just get rid of Mordecai, but he would get rid of all of the Jewish people in the land of Persia. He made such a heinous plot that he was going to annihilate and have a Holocaust for everyone that was not from the land of Persia. Not everyone, the Jewish people. So Mordecai, knowing full well that they were in trouble, came to Queen Esther, who is his niece, and he said to her everything that he has heard about and everything that was taking place. And I love how I love what Mordecai said to Esther in chapter 4 of the book. And he said to her, if you do not say something at this time, if you do not do something at this time, help will come from the Jews. Help will come for the Jews from heaven. But who knows, maybe you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. And I think it's so profound what he shared with her, because Esther, she could have been just like Vashti. And I encourage you to read the story as you log off of the video. You should go read the story of Esther, because Esther could have done whatever. And I think that she had such a different character. She was disposed differently that she took quick action and the right action as well at the right time. And I believe that, as I go into the story, as I go further into the story, Esther went into a fast as she got word from Mordecai. She sent him a note to tell him what to do. And she basically said, we're going to go into a fast and prayer, and we're going to seek God's help, really, so that, this matter can be resolved. She said something that's very profound. She said, if I must die, I must die. So she was willing. She was willing to do whatever it took to rescue her people, even if that meant death. And so fast forward, she approached the king. The king, she won favor in his eyes again. He was promising her even half of the kingdom to what she really wanted. And she said, no, I just want my people to be saved. I want my people to be well. I want my people to be free. I want them to be able to live in this land as free people. And the king issued her order. He did what she requested. It was not easy, but it was accomplished. And so today I wanted to talk to you. I want to break down the words readiness and justice. And I want to start off with the word justice. What does it mean? What does the word justice really mean? And according to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the word justice is the quality of being just. It means to be righteous. It means to be equitable. It means to have a moral rightness. It means to uphold the justice of a cause. And the next word is ready, right? Readiness. What does it mean? It means to be prepared mentally and physically for some experience or action. I love the word disposed. It means to have the right disposition. It means to be willing, and it means to have the right character. I believe Esther had all of these things encompassed in her. And 3 things I'd like to share with you today from the life and story of Esther are these things. Esther, she knew her fight. She knew where the battle was coming from. She knew what to do. She knew her fight. When she learned of the plot against the Jewish people, she did not hurry out and ask the king for the head of her enemy. No, she fought silently. She fought right, with righteousness. And the second thing I want to say to you today is that Esther knew her God. For the mere fact that Esther went into prayer and fasting, it means that she knew God. It means that she had a relationship with God. If you know anything about the Jewish people, they're God's people. And I'm sure as she grew up as a child in Mordecai's house, he taught her godly principles. She knew her God. And so her fight was fought in prayer and fasting. The third thing I want to share with you is that Esther knew the right time. She moved on time. She did not waste time to get into action. And her action, as you have already heard me say, was prayer and fasting. And those were the 3 things that Esther used and won a whole nation. She brought about justice for the whole nation of the Jews. She saved the Jews. I believe that God is calling us as women today to be righteously disposed. Where? In our homes, in our communities, in our countries, in the world. I believe that we, too, have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. I believe that you have a purpose where you're planted. I believe that you have a purpose in your home, in your workplace. I believe that you have been called for a specific purpose for such a time as this. And I believe that God's desire for all of us, and as we take from the story of Esther, is to be righteously disposed. Does our world need justice? Yes, everywhere, especially in this 21st century where we're living. God is calling you and me, all of us as women, to be righteously disposed. Through Esther, God brought about justice, peace, and victory for the Jewish nation. I believe that now is the appointed time for us as women of this transformational worldwide home league to be those women that are disposed righteously, to raise our children right, to instill order, peace, and godly principles in our homes, to live a pure life in our house, to take action at the right time. Maybe, just maybe, you have come to the kingdom of God for such a time as this. I've heard it said, and I want to conclude by saying these things. I've heard it said, cheers to strong women. May we know them, may we raise them, and may we be them. But today we are rewriting that. I'm rewriting that by saying cheers to justice-ready women or righteously disposed women. May we be them. May we know them. May we raise them. I hope that this message has blessed you and that you can think critically about where you might be called for such a time as this. May God bless you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.